I mean, it is attention to detail, but I will say whoever, like if anyone wants to try neon, the biggest thing and my biggest recommendation is everything you know about photography, all that knowledge you have, throw it out the window and start from scratch, because the laws of photography do not apply to neon light. Because it's invisible light that we can't see on our spectrum. So all the stuff I learned in college, I was like, all right, not applying any of this. And you can't be, obsessed about, the ISO, the exposure, the shutter speed, the aperture, et cetera. You literally have to just take a picture and just dial in from there. Because you literally are taking a picture in a pitch black room. You can't see anything. So the odds out of 1,000 pictures, you're probably going to get maybe 20. And that's, between having a very high-end camera and the second even someone breathes, it comes blurry, and we all know how that looks through our photo.
So how do you go about making sure that your photos are in focus and all that?
I learned this on my third series. So what I end up doing is I purchased like a $8 really small flashlight that's strictly a black light, and then I took a picture. So like pretty much what I do is I point the flashlight at the nose, and then I turn the lights off, and then take a picture, because then at least the camera's dialed into the right depth of field. Because the first 2 series I did, I was just trying anything.
Freehanding it.
Literally freehanding. Was
that on your first or second?
Which one? When I started freehanding?
Yeah.
Which
one did I help you on?
That was Minx. So in order, it was Neon Dreams, Genesis, and then Minx.
Okay, so I was on your third.
My third. But realistically, it's just kind of trying to outdo my work, which is kind of hard because you're dealing with all the same colors over and over and over again. But as technology improves, it does make it easier, but also more challenging at the same time.
Yeah. So wait, I'm confused. When you say neon light, I just think of like the signs. Like,
no.
This is like infrared?
It's, how do I explain it? So like, like when you go to a club and then like they have black lights everywhere, but then if someone wears white or they even have like lint on their shoulder, it shows up on that black t-shirt. So pretty much the work that I do, I use about 6 black lights. So even though we can see a tad, it's very hard for us to see in the room. And he's seen what it's like. It's very dark. It's different. But yeah, so it's just with black light, but they make more higher, expensive, more caliber lights, which I've been starting to dabble in. But yeah.
I did this project one time where I was working with like glow in the dark paint, and we put it all over this girl's body, and obviously we had to turn the lights off, and I couldn't see a damn thing. So that's kind of where that question came from. Like, how did you get everything to focus? So I actually had to take the flashlight on my phone and like shine it on her face, and then try to focus, and like they still came out like shit.
Yeah.
But because I couldn't focus in the camera that I have, you guys know, like the focus issues on that.
Well, they have little numbers on the top that tell you how far you're shooting.
I'm blind and all that.
It's like in your hand. What are you talking about?
I'm also not gonna lie, like I didn't know about that at that time. So, yeah. It's just working with neon is just not
fucking amateurs.
I will say
this is like 2 years ago.
I will say another really big tip with work with neon is a lot of times you see neon work and it looks very 70s. It has that like black feel with like the paint that that you said, but then you see some work that has that blues like in the background. You're like, why can't I get that exact same effect? When you start dealing with neon work, one of the biggest things to do is put something white behind them, because the white then reflect the light back to at least back to the DSLR camera, so that we can see it. When you have something that a dark surface behind them, it just becomes mumbled. It looks very retro. If that's what you're going for, that works perfectly great. But if you want that ultra modern design, you need to put a white surface behind that, because that white surface then you can change in Lightroom or do whatever you need to do. But that's one of the biggest differences with my work compared to when you see a lot of neon art. It just looks very 70s Blade Runner, very kind of style.
I think I'm kind of into that.
There's no wrong or right. It's just realistic. It's just perspective and opinion. Sure. There's no right or wrong.
Now, what other things do you incorporate? Because, like you were saying, you usually see these black lights in like clubs and stuff like that, and people like kind of light up. Are there certain materials that you found that are like really amazing to work with?
Yes, I learned this the hard way. Say you buy powder, for example, from the store, and you're like, oh, this can look really great in neon work. If it does not say reflective to UV, it will not work. It will just be muddy brown. It will not work. So that's one thing I learned the hard way after spending God knows how much money on them. The other thing I learned is that if you try to do glitter baths in neon, you pour a shit ton of Quidine inside of the tub. And if you're wondering what has Quidine, tonic water. So you just have to, literally 100 gallons of tonic water.
Quinine?
Quidine. Or maybe it's quinine. I don't know how you say it. I think it's Quidine.
I know tonic has quinine, and
Or maybe that's how you say
it
reflects.
It's what you take if you have malaria, I think.
Yeah. You got me on
Where
that
are we
one.
going?
I'm
here?
learning so much. You guys are bickering back and forth about how to pronounce it. I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck that is.
But yeah, so like if you go like say for example you go to a bar and you see like what's that blue drink? Hypnotic. Hypnotic will give that.
I was thinking about Gatorade.
I've heard of Hypnotic for a while.
Hypnotic. And if you want that in my blue series, that's how I did it. You just have to pour a ton of it because if you use neon lights and just water, it's gonna look really muddy and dark. It's not gonna look very good. But it's just the little tips of the trade after doing one thing after another. You just you learn.
So you can do glow in the dark art, or you can cure malaria.
Yeah.
Evidently.
Moral of the story. That's fascinating.
Or gin and tonics. Because
Gin and tonic
All
solve
three at the
all
same
my
time.
issues.
Yeah.
what?
So let's do all three at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh my god. it's about to
UV
be-
lights with gin and tonics, and
That's our first
somebody
party.
with malaria. Gotta find somebody that still has malaria.
Fresh from some like safari or something like that.